my name is Kat, and today I want to talk about books being age appropriate. So this discussion topic is inspired by some questions that I get pretty frequently, like, can you recommend a book that's good for a 12-year-old? Or is this specific book appropriate for someone who's 15? And my response is always, I think it completely depends on the individual. The same book could be totally inappropriate for one 14-year-old, but for another 14-year-old, it's totally okay. I don't think age has to do with it as much as maturity level does, and what each individual person can handle. Like, a book could have a lot of brutal violence, but no bad language. So is that okay? You could have a cutesy contemporary novel with 13-year-old protagonists, and if there's one F-bomb in the book, does that make it not appropriate? A book has no violence and no cursing, but the characters have sex. It's not overly graphic, like it's not an erotica novel, but like they're clearly having sex. Is that okay? Is that inappropriate? What is appropriate for you or your child or your younger sibling or whoever? Personally, I would have been fine reading a book with violence and swearing and sex at age 15. In fact, that pretty much describes exactly what I was reading at age 15. But there is no way I'm gonna give like a blanket endorsement of this book is appropriate for 15-year-olds. That could result in a very angry parent emailing me, or in a teenager reading something that they weren't quite ready for and it like makes them uncomfortable and feel bad. I don't know you. Like, I don't know what kind of content you can handle. I can give you like a general content warning, like this book has some violence but no sex or swearing, but I feel very awkward and quite frankly unqualified to put an age rating on a book. The idea of giving books age ratings is not a new one. Like, plenty of people have discussed this before, particularly with young adult books where the content can vary so much. Should books have some kind of rating system like movies and video games do? And what would that even look like? Let's look at The Hunger Games, for example. Okay, that book has a lot of violence, but there's no swearing, there's no sex, so how would you rate that? The movie got a PG-13 rating, but they did tone down some of the violence. So does the book need a higher rating than the movie? Like, would the book be rated R? Even though there's no sex or swearing or like other mature themes, would the violence alone get the book rated like 17 and up? How do you measure how graphic the violence is or how graphic the sexual content is? Do you need like a swear counter on the book, like a little label on the front that says, this novel contains 4 dams, 6 craps, and 1 F-bomb. Proceed with caution. A PG-13 movie is allowed to have a single non-sexual F-bomb, but there are some parents who even mild cursing is not okay for their children to be exposed to. And aside from age ratings, should books have content warnings or trigger warnings? Like Winter Girls by Lori Hales Anderson is a fantastic, powerful book, but it deals with eating disorders and could be triggering to someone who has had an eating disorder or is trying to recover from one. The Retribution of Mara Dyer is a YA book, but it has violence and swearing and possible triggers for sexual assault and self-harm. I'm not usually that sensitive to graphic scenes in books, but I nearly stopped reading this one because there were a couple scenes that were just almost too much for me to handle. Anyways, I really just wanted to make this video to kind of explain why I never give books age ratings. I don't want to recommend books as like, this is good for teens 13 and up, because you might be a very mature 11-year-old who would love this book, or you might be a 16-year-old who can't handle certain content and this book would not be good for you. It all depends on the individual, on what you personally can handle, or if you're young, what your parents are comfortable with you being exposed to. But those are just my thoughts, and I would really love to hear your thoughts on this topic. What's your opinion on books having age ratings or content warnings? A 13-year-old can't go see a rated R movie, but they can go to the bookstore and buy an erotica novel. Should that be allowed? Please discuss. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this video today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I'll have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! I can make generalizations. I can be general. My helicopter sense is tingling. It's just my ears. I can hear it. I don't know you, you know? You know I don't know you. You know I know that I don't know you, you know? The last time I wore this shirt, someone commented that I looked like a mime, and now I can't unsee that.